Well, for my 26th wedding anniversary, which occurred this past week, my wife said that she wanted a salt box, and she had one in her Amazon.com wish list. And I took a look at it, and it looked nice, but it didn't look $40 nice. And so I decided that for our anniversary present, and for it to have a little bit more sentimental value, I think, I thought that I would make her a salt box. And so this is my attempt at a salt box. I made it out of some walnut that I've got. It's got some beautiful grain. I just used plain butt joinery and then put some splines in a little bit later with a simple lid. It's recessed with a piston fit and a simple handle on the top. And the salt box actually kind of looks like Noah's Ark right there. But so the more and more I got into this, the more and more I got to thinking that this salt box, it looks like a salt coffin. It's too big to be a salt box. So anyway, this wound up being a nice desk box for my wife. So it was also a part of the anniversary gift, but that is not the actual salt box. So we went back to the drawing board and decided I didn't want to do, as much as I liked the joinery of the last one with the wood splines, I wanted to give a go at making a bandsaw box. So I got 3 pieces of wood from the same batch of walnut and face glued them. So I've got a triple decker there, as you can see. Hopefully you can see that it's a triple decker with the painter's tape and the quick clamp there. But I got them all glued up, and then the next day the glue had fully cured, and so it was time for us to begin making our box. The first thing that I was going to do would be to cut off the bottom because I wanted to be able to drill holes all the way through the box, and I wanted my bottom to remain a solid piece. So I took my pencil and I made a woodworker's mark on one face so that I could make absolutely sure that my orientation would remain the same whenever I glued the bottom back on, and then we sawed it off. After we sawed off the bottom, I went over to the drill press with my Forstner bits and wanted to hog out the wood that was on each of the 4 corners that would ultimately define the 4 interior corners of the salt box. Unfortunately, with the thickness of the box and with the shortness of my Forstner bits, I couldn't drill all the way through the box. I got about 70-75% of the way through, and then my Forstner bits were bottoming out and there was no getting through. So time to change bits. I put in a much thinner bit and just wanted to punch a hole through to the other side so that I could come in from the other direction and know exactly where my Forstner bits were lined up. So I chucked up a new bit and raised the platform for the drill press, and then drilled it all the way through and got through to the other side, and there's the hole. Now we just have to do that 3 more times. After that's complete, we rechuck the Forstner bit and come through from the other side 4 times. And we are left with a very interesting looking pair of binoculars. No, I'm just kidding. Back to the bandsaw. Time to cut out the interior. There's one thing that I would do differently here. I would have started my cut going with the grain rather than perpendicular to the grain, and I'll show you why a little bit later. But the next time that I'm doing any type of bandsaw box, I will bear in mind that it's always better to come in with the grain rather than cutting across the grain. So we've got some score lines there to kind of help us with our bandsaw cuts. And there we go. Got all 4 of our cuts made, and the interior will just slide out. After we removed the interior, we finished that cut that's on the left side there. We made it go all the way through so that we could then glue that piece back on, and there wouldn't be an awkward angle to it, even though the bandsaw blade does not have that much of a curve to it. I just wanted to make sure that it was completely flat. So there's the interior piece removed. Kind of looks like something from the Knights Templar. Maybe that'll be another project. So, gluing the side back on, clamping it up, and stealing an idea here from Matthias Wendell, where he uses spent sawdust and clippings and shavings and such in order to clean up the glue squeeze out during the course of making a project. And so I gave that a go, and mixed reviews. Next time I try that, I probably won't try that again. There's me with my hand grabbing the sawdust and trying to use it to wipe away the glue squeeze out. Maybe it works better for him. He probably has a better technique. Time now to glue back on the bottom and clamp that bad boy up. If you look closely on the left-hand side there, you can start to see why it is that I probably, the next time that I do a bandsaw box, will make that cut with the grain rather than perpendicular to the grain. You can just scarcely see a hairline on the left-hand side of that face of the box where the bandsaw curve used to be and where the side glue up has taken place. So it's microscopic, and after we sand the project, it becomes even less visible, especially after we add some mineral oil to as our finish. It's almost impossible to see, but still, you know, being an anal retentive woodworker, you want everything to be perfect. Same thing, Matthias Wendell, glue squeeze out, mixed reviews. And then it's off to the sander. Sanding, sanding, and more sanding. One thing that I neglected to do, and I apologize for this, but I used a 1/4 inch round over bit to soften all of the edges to the box. So the interior top portion of the box, the exterior of the top portion of the box, all of the sides, and the base of the box all got the 1/4 inch round over bit run across it, so that the box would be much more comfortable when in hand, that we wouldn't have any sharp edges. And so let's take a look at how the box turned out. After we add the mineral oil, it really does bring the grain of that walnut out. It really is quite stunning, and it looks good on the countertop. Here's a look at the of that hairline kerf that you can see from left over from the bandsaw. You really have to zoom way in, and then you really have to be looking for it. But it's on the left-hand side there, and if you're really stretching, you can see it. But it's okay. I'm happy with it. So let's see what this thing looks like with some salt in it. It looks pretty darn good. Actually, it really does look good. I like the way that the salt really jumps out with that really dark walnut. And, oh, look, there's a glass of wine there. I think I'm going to take a page out of the Drunken Woodworker's manual and treat myself to a glass of wine. I feel like I deserve it. Happy anniversary, Joanne. It's been a wonderful 26 years. I'm sure the next 26 will be even better. Thanks for watching.